You're down the street trying to forget about the Holy Spirit. That's your middle ground, for Christ's sake. That's what died and entered you, the holy entrance. Your entrails wound round and round the world like red knitter's yarn, like a ring of snakes before they turn into fire, and then turn back into dim gray waters full of bored sharks. I just did a reading at Purdue University because I'm from the Midwest and I just finished a book tour. And my parents, who teach at Purdue, were there, along with their entire Bible study. So I'm not used to not having to censor myself. It just seemed like every time I went to a reading, I'd look out and there was a different family member who I couldn't offend. So, I mean, they read the book, they know it's in it, but I come from a very religious family, so I feel it's just nice to just read it. I don't have to worry about who's gonna upset. It's not really that upsetting, I don't think. For 6 years, the girls careen in his dream like little flashlights. My intelligence is measured by the number of sweat bees in the yard. In late fall, I'm not very smart. I'm not very smart at the beginning of spring, when even the sidewalk has hormones. One little girl peeks out from behind a factory wall far, far away from a backyard. She says, "This is how you make it," and shows a handful of silver springs and looks at him with blonde eyes. It is hard to get the orchid to live because it is easier to die. I want to charge through the doorway of arms. People can't stop me, illuminated under lights, baking into different hardnesses, chatting and letting their eyes sink into the corners where shabby sales reps wait, growing polite and sleepy beneath the dust makers. The two cycles spin back on each other, and the deer's chin hairs wobble as the rest of the hot heartland traffic whooshes. Many Jesus stickers bemoan nothing with their white crowns of thorns. A broken deer can break down into pavement, smaller and smaller until it becomes a bee. When a bee breaks, it takes its two parts to its own lake of sorrows, a hidden puddle with a shattered reflection, the destination of the world's tiniest heartbreaks. People I can't stand get drunk in sports sandals or make old-timey photographs of themselves in costume, as if anyone cares about who they want to be. I coddle various babies for a living, wade fearless into the ocean if I can clutch my glasses, curl up each night with the world's favorite books, lead the talentless on a covert crime mission across the Midwest, coming to a mediocre city near you. Every fucking thing about me is designed to melt your heart. Okay, read some from It's Plastic Light, which is the second section. What is between us? 2 windows and a column of air. As I am my own mystic, I can collapse backward into dust babies. I'll bunny my way toward the fake horizon because I'm smarter than you and faster. A fig tree, the granite state, cicadas, or locusts, the limestone state. My neighbor drives his big stupid car over and asks, do I want to go get breakfast? My words are vertebrae in a plastic bag. My silver urn is bending. My fig tree is a little girl's face tacked right through the eye. No, I say, I'm writing, then go back in to watch 16 Candles. I mean to say get under the covers, but I'm already gone. You stretch out your arms to crucify yourself, but then change your mind. There is little to no weeping. I've made a pact with myself to not be crazy, but then there is that tree in the distance, clinging to itself and solid as a leg. Small dogs creep around the periphery of foliage. The nun in my head is of little to no use. The sounds of her lilies are like paper hands. When I wake up, it is to the white new air, no curtains, petals outside spinning a cathedral. I make the travel plans. When 2 ghosts cross each other, a sky is born. Two skies try to exist together, one in the background while the other takes the credit, or one underneath the other, coiled like the furnace in a pretend hideout, waiting until it can be something else. The birds honking are in silent lines. This sound steadfast as a face. I almost say bullshit, but at the last minute change it to malarkey. There is room for me to stand on one foot. I'm a latchkey kid, a circle denying the evidence. Leaves descend all over the borders, so many lines dividing one thing or another to make a solid mesh through which I can barely see. I'm spending the winter here in the ash house on the edge of the crinkly sea. Darling, I don't usually say darling, but I want you to have everything behind my eyes. In the darkness, your dark flashlight points out the room's troubles. I'll never have the really important ideas. I see only by the light of my skin. Do it without alchemy, he says. He has been asleep for several weeks. When he finally comes to, I can't live with all the beauty. Something small, a small white taxi, scuttles in and out, a string connecting it to the larger and less important ground. The cobbler is in Aruba, they said, but they'll have my shoes back to me by next week. I teleport to the astral plane or wherever. If I close my eyes, the place I go is the basement as usual. The lamp gives its plastic light. I'm now at the stage where I write about crystals. When I smash it to pieces, he hands me the crystal, and its green light shows me the way through the dusty aisles. Many have inserted candles here in order to worship the delicate flowers which grow from my eyelids. Corn in another county bends at the waist, and the sky fills with specks of my inky radiance. Time breaks into manageable pieces around my great ending. I am crestfallen. Let me give you the apron of my love. First take the tufts of hair the dog chewed off the fur pillows and bury them outside in the snow. The other things that need to be hidden will be listed soon. It helps to be on top of a mountain at dusk, or to find the cabinets stocked with English supplies such as biscuits. The lawyers are still rich, as are the dentists. Everything else has changed. I look frantically for something to puzzle me. Okay, the last section is The Sky is the Thing. And this is the section I wrote most of it I wrote while I lived in Boston. The rest was when I still lived in Indiana. So it feels really different to me, even though maybe it won't to other people. I don't want to be like everyone else, yet I imagine myself attached to my own arm again. The parts of my head you don't see are grass-colored and glum. Done was also a word I thought of. Other words that sound like done. I look at things until they're vaguely identifiable piles, until the prettier rocks are within my reach. Everything sounds like air as I walk from one end of the room to another. I prefer silence. It isn't the loneliness as much as the right angles everywhere that bother me. I'll think that I've finished my circle, but there aren't any circles, or enough crooners in the world to adequately express this. He imagined what it would be like to live there, right down to the tent and the type of processed meat that could be cooked over a camp stove. I didn't really imagine it because I don't care about things like that, though I pretended in case there was a chance he might sleep with me. The hotel in the distance looked sad. I was field-colored and, in a certain light, field-shaped. Dead Rockefellers, I'm not sure I'm cute enough. I don't think I want to live in the land of tables and receipts. John is dead and Sharon is alive is one thing I learned today. Ribbons of asphalt weave one of you into another, making you a road I ride further into this vault. Instead of going out and being expensive, I want to look more carefully at hairs and particles, lights and eyes, the dormant humanity in a post-it. I can stare at a glue stick for hours, at my fingernail until night begins its dull blue waiting, and the wind blows over all of the lovers with their ropes of lights, their ridiculous sleeping. I take my harp down to the water, but it isn't a harp, it's a person, and we're falling in love. Birds land on us, and I grip the air with my eyes. Hills are arms, and the landscape is a bucket. His whole body is taped to me, or taped to a picture of the world. I give myself up piece by piece until the day comes when there are no pieces. I bring myself a folded white dress as I lie there sleeping and empty and glass. I wake up and put it on, happy for this dress, which is a shard of light. What I hear is orange. A vase of fingers is like a picture of a hand. A picture of hands is the red haze under skin, the red maze under all of us. I try to turn this into something to rest on, or the sky. Pieces of people under all of what we say, ding-donging into now. Fucking mirrors, reaching into a feeling. Pleiades, a group of shadows on the floor, flickering light to see me by. Sadly, the erotics of doubt. July, a type of firebird, though I don't know what a firebird is really. Something that survived the fire. I've gone beyond mere survival into a hallway that smells like weed. Someone's abandoned shoes. I'll never be serious enough to tell the story, ambitious enough to stay awake. This doesn't happen anywhere, but still there are clouds. I liked it better when things were blurred. Everyone understood that the world was a kind of story. Everything felt modern, but I was still behind the times in the wrong skirt. I thought the air underground would be cool or worm-like, but it was a different kind of red. When I breathed in fire, I could only breathe out fire. No matter how much I looked at them, I couldn't become a tree. Breathing the leaves hurt too. They went into the nose wrong and didn't know how to keep from being real. It is good to be sad and say nothing. Clouds marry clouds over the ceiling. The girls in the town outside are young and angry with large sunglasses. Inside the town, there are red eyes, red heels, red streets, red doors. That stanza sort of what led me into the thing I'm writing now, although the idea of this interior red town. I'll just read one more stanza. The last one. There was no way to be fully alive. I did climb up onto the roof. I sat up there shaking while a bridge and a church were pointed out to me. The surface turned my legs and hands black. Already I was sliding down shingles, watching the top of the neighbor's head as she took out the trash. Again and again I was somewhere else. Thanks.